Hey guys, it's Gretchen from Rick Rack Vintage, where we make old things new again. Today I'm going to show you how to tuft. It's easier than you think, so you should give it a try. So I found this ottoman just on Facebook Marketplace. I love ottomans. They're really fun to do, and it's an easy project for beginners to do. So what you will need is you will need an upholstery needle. This one is a 5-inch needle. So depending on how thick your foam and batting are, depends on how long a needle you will need. But I'm using a 5-inch needle, and I just dropped my thread. I'm also using a waxed thread. You do not have to use a waxed thread. You can just use a regular upholstery thread. But the reason that I like a waxed thread is because it's sticky. And when I am doing tufting where I'm tying knots, this keeps the knot from slipping. So I really like it. Some people don't like it at all because it is sort of sticky. It makes your fingers sticky and your needle sticky. But I like it. So the other thing that you can do is you can just buy regular upholstery thread, and they have little round wax that you can then run your thread across, so you can really make any upholstery thread a waxed thread. I prefer just to buy mine already done. The next thing you will need are your buttons. Now, I happen to have a machine that covers buttons. If you don't have a little machine, they're quite expensive, but if you don't have one, a lot of times you can go to your neighborhood upholstery shop and they will make buttons for you, or you could go to, say, your theater's costume shop. They will usually have button cover machines. The little plastic things that you buy in the kits at the store do not work on upholstery fabric. So you're going to have to find a source, but there are plenty of sources out there. Just ask around. So you'll need your buttons. This is a 1.1 inch button that I'm using. The other thing you will need is a staple gun. Now, if you don't have, mine happens to attach to my air compressor. If you don't happen to have a fancy one like that, then you can just use a hand stapler. Sometimes the staples don't go in as well, which is why I use an air compressor. If they don't, you'll just have to hammer them in after you've stapled. So I think that's the supplies that you will need. I will show you, come around here to the back, and I'll show you that this ottoman already has pre-drilled holes. So if you're recovering something that's already been tufted, it will already have these holes drilled in it. If not, you can do your own pattern, but you'll need to drill holes in because that's where you're going to run your needle and your thread through. So the other thing that you need to know is that you will want to start in the middle of your fabric. Now this is a medium tufting. So if you want a really deep tufting, then you'll use a high foam bat, and you'll have to cut slits in it. That will enable your button to go really deep. I did not want a really deep one because the ottoman sort of needs to be flat if you want to use it as a table. So this is a medium tuft. So I have not attached my fabric to the sides of the ottoman. And the reason why is if you do that, you won't be able to pull your tufting tight. So you want to leave your sides loose. What I did is I found the middle of my ottoman, already had a hole drilled in it, and then I found the middle of my fabric, and that is the button you want to start with. That will hold your fabric in place, and you want to work out from there. So as you can see, I have the middle button done. Then I moved out to the 2 side buttons. Now I've done this button, and next I will do these 2 corner buttons. Then I'll flip it over, do the middle of the bottom, and then the 2 corners at the bottom. Then I will have it all tufted. So I'm going to show you how you do that. I've got my needle, and it's threaded with a long thread. So if I'm doing this corner tuft, I am going to sort of pull the fabric taut, make sure that it's lined up where I want it to be. Then I'm going to stick my needle from the bottom of the ottoman straight through. You want to stick the needle through as straight as you can possibly get it. You can see it sticking through there. So I'm going to pull it through. I'm going to stick my button on. Now, the tricky part is you're going to go back through as straight as you can, and you're going to hope you hit that hole. And I happened to have hit it the first time. So if you don't hit the hole the first time, just keep working at it until your needle finds that hole to pull it back through. So I'm going to pull this button. I'm going to make sure, do you see how it was twisted? I'm going to make sure that that thread, it was twisted like that. I'm going to make sure that it's not twisted when I pull it tight. So I've got my button in place. Now I'm going to come around to the back. And I'm going to secure it on the back. So I'm going to grab my staple gun. And what you want to do is work in a zigzag pattern. So I'm going to pull this as tight as I can get it until that button is pulled into the foam. And I'm going to do a zigzag staple. So what that's going to do is when the button is pulled from the front, these threads are not going to be able to move. And that's all you have to do. So give it a try. It's not that hard. It's one of those things, if you mess it up, pull the buttons off and try it again. So good luck. I hope you learned a few things. Check me out at Rick Rack Vintage on Instagram and Facebook. See ya.